Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In previous couple of videos, we have created first SharePoint Copilot apps using SharePoint Framework 1.24, which is in public preview, right? So as I was exploring it little bit more, I was trying to compare it with how a SharePoint solution works with web parts, wherein within the same solution you can have multiple web parts added to it, right? Same way, if you have a SharePoint solution which just contains the Copilot apps, how we are going to create multiple Copilot components in the same solution, how this component would be loaded by Copilot based on the user intent, and based on that I could understand and I could come up with a particular scenario which we are going to cover in today's video. Now, for example, why do you need this, right? If you think about it, that within the same solution, you might want to have multiple Copilot components, which is basically the user experience or user interface, depending on the user intent. For example, one component might be for displaying employee information, one component might be for showing some pending approvals, or another one would be showing some project details, right? So in a way you have a same solution which is basically kind of working, and then different copilot components being added to it. So in this video we are going to see how we can add another copilot component to the same SPFx solution, and then we will also understand what changes to be made to different component tools and its manifest file, so that we can give the orchestration of the copilot to know which tool to call, and based on which tool which component would be loaded here, right? So with that, let's get started. Now I already have a solution where I have added two Copilot components. So we are just going to walk it through, because after making changes, building and deploying, and to take the agent to show up in our Copilot agents library, it takes some time. So I already have a working demo which I am going to show, but I'm going to explain how different files and how different sections within the file is going to basically drive the whole user experience, right? Now, so for example, okay, so to add, say you have followed the first videos and you already have a solution, and to now just add a new solution, the way we used to add a new web part to the existing SPFx solution or a new component to an SPFx solution, you have to use the same command, right? So on the existing SPFx solution, go ahead and say yo @Microsoft SharePoint. What it is going to tell you is, it is going to take you through the whole user experience again, where it will ask which type of component which you want to add, the name of the component, and all of that, right? So you basically kind of, same way you would have created your first copilot component, same way select the copilot component again, and then what it is going to do is, it is going to add your copilot component here. So for now I'm going to just let's say we'll wait till this gets loaded. We are not going to add it, as I said. Yeah, so as you can see here, it basically asks us to create a select the component you want to create, and then the same user experience, you select the component name and all of that. So I'm just going to kill this and just say that you have added a second copilot component, right, which you can see it here. Now the scenario which we are going to take is, what we have done is, we have two components. One is first copilot component, second copilot component, and I kept the name as to differentiate us, which is the first one and second one. But within copilot component, to basically, because the folder name or the component name in a way doesn't matter, what matters is what we put it in the manifest file, and what the name of the tool and description of the tool is, right? Because based on the tool itself, the copilot component is going to be called, and it would be rendered in our user interface. So I'll first take you to an example. So say once I have installed the agent, and once I see here, I'm taking an example of that. Hey, first component is basically related to Ruby Park, which is one of the society, and then the other one is basically Topaz Park, which is another society. So the only difference which we have in both this component is I'm still using the same hello world component, but if it is a Ruby Park component which is being called, then here you will see it says Ruby Park Society, right? But if it is an component about the Topaz Park, same Copilot agent would be called, but here you would be able to see Topaz Park Society. This is the only difference I made in the user interface for now, right? And you can see this from here. So the first Copilot component, the main component file is first Copilot component here, and in here I have a hard-coded div which says Topaz Park Society, right? And then the second component has Ruby Park Society, right? So this is how basically this one is, right? And so this is the only difference which we have now. But what we did is we have to name the tool, right? So as we also have seen in the first video, the idea is that you go to the manifest file, and you can see here in the second Copilot component I have renamed the tool. Okay, if you have followed my first video, you would have seen that the tool name would be generally created with the name of the component, but what I did is I wanted to see that does it matter if we keep the folder name separately, if we keep the tool name as a different tool, does it matter or not? So hence what I did is I kept the component name as different because it's a Copilot component, but I changed the tool name. So in our first video which we have seen, the tool name was exactly same as your component name and just with a postfix called as tool, but here I am completely changing it. I am calling this second Copilot component which we have created as a Ruby Park tool, and with a description that's it, this tool to get information on the Ruby Park. Everything else remains same, the property files, the JSON and everything. You do not have to touch it, just change the name and the description. Same way, when we go to the first Copilot component, I have given the tool name as Topaz Park tool, and this tool is to get information on the Topaz Park. So here also I'm just changing the tool name, nothing more than that, right? And and then based on this, now what I wanted to do is I wanted to basically relate how does the tool gets called by the Copilot agent whenever whenever user is going to ask some question, right? So the important part here to understand is that tool is everything, right? It's not the component or the purpose of the component or anything which we are going to do. Idea is that the property schema.json file is going to relate your particular tool with your Copilot this thing, plus for your Copilot component, within Copilot component you are saying you are adding it a tool here, right? Now what I understand is that within a single component also, right now we are talking about two different components, Copilot component 1 and Copilot component 2, but if you want, you can also add another tool within the same Copilot component, and based on the tool being called, you can basically control your user interface. Now think about it that you are creating one Copilot component for a one specific solution or one specific use case, right? Now you might not want to create different components, but what you want to do is within the same component you might want to control what kind of user interface get loaded based on the tool being triggered. So in that case what you have to do is you have to basically add a new tool within the same Copilot component, because the relationship goes like this: one solution can have multiple Copilot component, each Copilot component can have multiple tools, and ideally based on the tool name we should be able to conditionally show certain user interface or altogether replace a user interface. So if you think that a single component logically makes sense for your use case, then we create a single component but add multiple tools to it. Now one thing to note here is that as of today, where this video is getting recorded, 12th of July, yet do not have a way for us to identify within a component that which tool got loaded, right? What does that mean? For example, if I go to a React component, what do we get is we get different properties which is available, which is been given from the component side, right, which is related to our SPFx Copilot. So here I can see one thing is that first of all, this dot properties dot message, but this is basically our custom one, so I will not touch that. But when you go to host context, for example, right, we are trying to find uh, that if there is any property which is going to tell us which tool is being called by the orchestration, we yet do not know. So if you see here that this property only have available display mode, container dimension, device capability, display mode, platform and theme. We do not have anything called as tool name, right, which is being called. Now there is another class called this dot bridge, right? Oh, sorry, this dot context dot um, context.copilot bridge dot. If I go here also, these are all the methods, overridden methods, which we can use to basically kind of call different actions which is available. We are going to create a separate method on this also, because this is also very important to understand when this kind of methods needs to be overridden and what does this methods mean basically, right? And probably some use case around it. So here as of now you see there is no way for us to actually find the tool name, right? So for example, say that within my this component, topaz bar component, what I might want to do is I might want to add one more tool here, and within that tool what I might want to do is that within my component I might want to show or hide some user interface based on the condition, right? So as of today that is not possible, but what I have seen comments from the product team is that yes, this property is going to be exposed to us when it is going to go either in the GA, because right now it is in the public preview, and there are certain changes which we might be getting it, and once we will get that changes we would be able to access this property here, and based on that we would be able to control our user interface also. So yeah, so this is also very kind of important. Now next thing, what I feel is that when you are going to build a solution with multiple components and all of that, yes, the first and foremost thing is the tools and the tool description is very important, but also in this case we have to go to our declarative agent and the instruction of the declarative agent, right? Because as we know, with the declarative agent and with the prompt and the instruction, you are basically kind of controlling the orchestration of what tool to be called when and how and all of that. So here you can give some examples. So right, for example, when we are building certain agent in our Copilot Studio, what we used to do, right, we used to use the prompt instruction feature for us to target or call a particular tool. So idea is that if you have to give some examples, you should give some examples here that hey, if the user talks about show me Ruby Park information, then call this tool. If the user tells me about show me Topaz Park, call this tool, right? Same kind of thing. And in the real world scenario, think about, you put your instruction here that hey, if it is user is asking about displaying the employee information, then go ahead and call the employee information tool. If it is talking about some pending approvals, then go and load different tools. So that is how you would be able to kind of control it. So instruction is also very important, right? Going back to the kind of demo, one thing which it's what we see here is that whenever the um, user query is being asked, now what it does is the agent also gives you this kind of explanation of why this component has been loaded or whatnot, right? And this seems to be little bit technical information. So what I feel is that this is where probably we would have to go to the instruction and tell this agent, because this agent is kind of the the agent name is first Copilot component agent. We have to tell that do not show the descriptive answer, only show the tool, only show the user interface if this tool is belongs to this, so that it basically does not give you this kind of technical information, rather just the user interface, and it feels like you are working on a SharePoint site with an SPFx web part or a Power Apps or any kind of user interface based web application, or an application through which user would be able to load the right component and then would be able to kind of display it, and then you can have get and post request. I mean, you can submit the data back also if you want to show some forms here that can also be done and all of that, right? So that is where all the things would be related. So yeah, so this is what for today's video. Now, as I said, it's very important to understand that it doesn't basically Copilot doesn't choose the component simply because of its file name or the folder name, but the tool name and the description is important. And every Copilot component's metadata describes that what component should be loaded or when it has to be used. And based on this information, the Copilot is to decide which component is more appropriate for the current conversation. And this is going to be kind of important, right? So with that, I would like to conclude today's video, that the key takeaway here is that we are not manually opening a particular component, so it means that we have to describe the purpose. And the Copilot apps is kind of little bit different than the traditional navigation based application which we have. The user has to describe what he has to achieve, and then Copilot brings a relevant application user experience into that conversation, and then would be able to do. So we'll keep on exploring further SPF SharePoint Copilot apps. Thank you for watching, and hope to see you soon.